Welcome back to Throttle On, and today we will be reviewing this 2018 Scrambler Ducati Desert Sled Black Edition. This is a new motorcycle our stable, and we'll take her on some dirt roads today and on highways and do a full review. So stay tuned. Alright everyone, thanks for tuning in to Throttle On. Today, as I mentioned, we're going to be reviewing this 2018 Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled. It's the Black Edition. I actually flew down to Florida from Texas and bought this motorcycle and drove it back. Surprisingly, it's very good, at least in my opinion, on the highway. You do catch some wind, right? Because there's no windscreen or anything like that. But for me, it wasn't bad. Of course, I've never really driven a cruiser type or a motorcycle that was built to ride long distances on the highway, so I don't really have any experience driving something like that to compare it to. But in my opinion, like driving it back, and that was in February, and actually I rode one morning in the rain and it was 50 degrees out, quite a ways. The seat is really comfortable. It was, in my opinion, all in all, it wasn't bad for driving, whatever it was, 500 miles back in February on this bike. So we'll start there, but we'll stop here in a little bit and do a general overview of the motorcycle and go through it and go over all the details and specs. But I've had this motorcycle for a while now, and I've got some other videos we'll be putting up of some trips that I've taken recently, but I'm just now getting around to doing a final or a review on this bike. I probably put about close to 2,000 miles on it since I've got it, so I've got some good information that I think I can share about this bike and kind of my thoughts around it. So like I said, we'll stop here in a little bit and go over all the details and specs, and then we'll go from there. Alright, welcome back guys. This is the 2018 Scrambler Ducati Desert Sled. This is the Black Edition. So far this is the only year they came out with the Black Edition. I'm actually up here in Oklahoma today doing a ride, so we'll all be going on some dirt roads, so we'll be able to give a little bit of a review around that. But we're gonna start by just going over the motorcycle and just kind of showing you some of the different features and options. So to start, it has a little charger for the battery here, and that thing just never stays in, it seems. So tuck that back underneath the seat. So this one actually has some modifications. When I bought it, like I said, I flew down to Florida to buy this motorcycle in Pensacola, Florida, back in February, and I drove it back. Like I said, I put about probably 2,000 miles on the bike since I've had it. So hopefully we'll be able to give a pretty comprehensive review. There's some different panels from the original here that they put on it. Also, the seat is a new seat. Didn't come stock with the motorcycle. So but this seat is a lot more comfortable than the original seat, and I'm not sure what it's called. You can kind of see this panel here too. There's a plastic panel that originally came with the bike, but this is an aftermarket side panel along with this side over here. You can kind of see it there. Again, you can see, like with the Desert Sled, it has a bigger swing arm in the back with the single shock. It has Brembo brakes. It has a single disc on the front, and then the single disc on the back. The brakes are fine. I mean, they stop the bike fine. There are no issues there. You can see it has the Pirelli Scorpion tires that come stock with it. I've ridden some off-road. They seem to work fine. They do really well on the street. No complaints there. The gas tank, I believe, holds around 3 gallons. I get probably about 150 miles to the tank the way I drive usually. It's a 6-speed. The engine's fine. It's got a lot of torque, a lot of power. Obviously compared to the XSR, it's definitely not as speedy for sure. It's got the L twin V or 800cc motor on it, the 6-speed gearbox. I ride a lot of times in 5th gear just to have a little more power. If I'm on the highway, I'll put it in 6th gear. I drove on the way back. If you don't have it loaded down, or if you don't have a lot of weight on it, it does fine. I mean, it's pretty peppy and speedy on the highway. I did notice recently I took a camping trip, and had quite a bit of gear on the bike, and it definitely was not as peppy as I remembered. So when you load it down a little bit, that's probably to be expected. But all in all, I mean, great bike, like great all-around bike. I've ridden this thing a lot since I've got it. It's just a great bike just for any everyday riding, in my opinion. It's capable of going off-road, although I wouldn't want to do anything too crazy off-road with it, but it's definitely capable of doing that if you want to do a little off-road riding. It's great on the street, great all-around motor, I would say. It's nothing too crazy. It's got plenty of torque, plenty of power for you. It's just a great all-around motorcycle, in my opinion. One thing, it is this model is a little taller. The Desert Sled is a little taller than the regular Scrambler. So if you are shorter, just be aware of that. I'm 6'2", and I can pretty much flat foot it. But if you're a little shorter, it may be a little more challenging there. Like I said, the muffler or the pipes on it are stock, but in my opinion, it sounds great. I mean, this is, like I said, an all-around great motorcycle. There's an air-cooled engine. People have talked about it getting hot when riding. It's hard to. I've ridden it when I took a trip recently. I mean, it was 111 degrees out, and it was just hot to begin with. I'm sure the motor added to that, but to tell you the truth, I really couldn't tell a difference. I'm sure, with any air-cooled engine, it's going to be hot. I'm sure, some are hotter than others. But like I said, all in all, so far, like I've been real impressed. I've been real impressed with the motorcycle. Haven't had any issues. Everything works great. You can kind of see the headlight in the front. It's got the halogen rim around it, or the LED lights around the outside. We'll turn it on here in a minute. You can kind of see that. But you can see I'm not a big fan of these graphics in the front here, and I've talked about taking it off, but I'll probably just leave it. But I love the look of this bike. That's one reason I flew to Florida to get it. It was the only black edition I could find that was for sale at the time, and I really wanted to buy a Desert Sled, and I love the black look here. So yeah, it was about 450 miles away from where I live, so I decided it was a good deal, and I flew down and bought it. So that's the walk around. You can kind of see the dash here. It's just a single instrument here. It's got miles per hour. You have different kind of modes. You can kind of see the odometer. It's got a clock. It's got a trip 1, trip 2. It's got the outside air temperature. It's got your total mileage, and that's about it. You can turn off the ABS. I've done that. I just keep it off, really. Or I haven't turned it back on since I've been riding off-road some. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. There's no fuel gauge. There is a fuel light that'll come on, and then it starts counting down the miles once that fuel light comes on to tell you how many miles you've gone since the fuel light had come on. We'll start it up here so you can kind of see. It's just you just flip the ignition switch, and let's see, put it in neutral. Kind of hear it there. You can kind of see the light. It's kind of hard to see with this light here, but like I said, I think it's a great looking bike. All around joy to ride, in my opinion, and I've had a lot of fun with it. I really enjoyed it. Probably, I'd say all around, probably my favorite motorcycle I've owned. it just does a lot of things. I think you can do a lot of things with this bike, and that's probably why I like it so much. It's, you know, it's great. I ride it every day. Like I said, driving on the highway, you do get a little wind, but it's, in my opinion, it's not terrible than you would expect from any other motorcycle. So yeah, that's kind of the general overview. We'll do some road highway driving here, and we'll give some review there, and then we'll do some off-road driving here in a minute. So yeah, this is the 2018 Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled Black Edition, and we'll check in here in a little bit. All right, we'll do some dirt riding here in a minute. Again, that thing's kind of a pain. It keeps coming off there. Anyway, I was going to show you. Actually, might as well just take this off. Pop the seat off here. I meant to show this earlier on the walk around, but you can kind of see. Comes with a little toolkit. It fits right there. Also, it's kind of nice. There's a little USB port so you can charge your phone. Usually I've got a cord that'll run up underneath the seat to my phone to charge. But that's kind of nice. Here's this little thing that keeps popping out. So that's kind of a pain. Nice to have, I guess, to charge the battery. But anyway, seat just pops on like that. So we'll go down this road here and give you an idea how this thing rides kind of off-road. It's pretty steep terrain and kind of rocky in spots. Kind of hear the motor there. Alright, it's getting hot, sun's coming out, so we're gonna get going. So again, with the stock tires and everything, this thing's perfectly capable. I'm standing up on the pegs now. Like I said, you can adjust the suspension. I don't have the suspension adjusted. There's some settings, I believe, in the manual excuse me, that tell you what you need to do. You can see the lake from here. I'm not sure if you can see it in the GoPro, but it's kind of a nice view. Anyway, there's some different roads up here. These are kind of like old fire roads, and then there's some lots that they put in up here. I put some roads into some houses up here. So yeah, this is, you know, like I said, it rides just fine off-road with the stock tires and everything. Everything works well. There's, I'm trying to figure out what road I need to go on here. We're just gonna go straight. I think we missed the road I was gonna turn on. Maybe not, maybe it's down here. Anyway, like I said, it runs fine down through here. You can stand up on the pegs. It feels stable. I'm not sure if these are aftermarket pegs or not that he put on here, but they feel good. Feel like a nice wide platform for my feet. But yeah, I mean, it handles bumps well. I'm sure it'll handle it better if you adjust the suspension. I just think there's some rocks and bumps and stuff, and it just rides fine. Like even the traction on these tires is fine for this type of terrain. I'm sure if you were going to be in some rougher terrain, you could also put some more, you know, some different tires on here with some more traction. But these tires work fine, I would say, for most terrain. If you're going to do anything, you know, more off-road, you probably want maybe look at some different tires. Like I said, all in all, this is perfectly capable. You know, there's some rocks there. You know, I came up this hill on this thing. It's got plenty of power. I mean, it just, like I said, it'll do it. It'll do it. It's just, you know, if it's comfortable for you. So it can do pretty much anything. So anyway, like I said, it's a perfectly capable bike for doing this type of riding. If you wanted to do this, if you want to ride on the highway, yeah, it'll do it all. So anyway, so this is, you know, the kind of the wrap up of the review. This is, like I said, the 2018 Ducati Desert Sled. I would highly recommend this as like an all-around type motorcycle. For beginners, I'm not sure. You know, maybe if you're confident enough and you know, you feel comfortable on a bigger bike, and you think, you know, if you're a good beginner, I would say, yeah, this is definitely something that you could do. It is a little taller, like I said. If you're comfortable on it, then I think it's something you could grow into fairly easy. There's probably some other bikes that would probably be better if you've never ridden a motorcycle before and this is your first bike, but again, it could fit that mold. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching Throttle On. I'll try to put out some more videos of my most recent trip up to Colorado through New Mexico on the desert sled. I hope you're enjoying the videos. I'm trying to put some out more regular schedule or more often. So keep watching, and thanks for watching Throttle On.